Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rune Terror Rising. I am your host and play-by-play caster, Jack Day Zero Hines, met with my lovely color caster here, Mahasvara. How are we doing today, Mahasvara?
We are doing very well. I'm very much looking forward to this matchup. A little, might say a little grud matchup here because I got a feeling that both teams have something to prove, especially after prior statements made throughout the year, or rather said with the rankings of top 5 rankings of each and every position. I think there are some people here out for blood. So this should be a good one.
Oh, for sure. There is a lot at stake in this game. It is our last non-playoff match of the entire inaugural split here of Rune Terror Rising. And it's a rematch, like you mentioned. We have, in week 1, Shurima and Demacia did face each other, and I believe it was a 2-1 victory to Shurima. So if we just run quickly through the history of these two teams throughout this event, Shurima, they won week 1 against Demacia. They were with their original roster. This time they will be using a sub. They don't have center in the support role for this game. They have, I believe, Gibbons instead, or I cannot remember the name of his account off the top of my head. Hide on Hooks.
Gibbons it is.
One. Yeah.
With an IGN
of but if we look at the rest of their listings, so they went in week 1, they went up against Demacia, they beat them. In week 2, they went up against our currently undefeated first place team in Piltover, and they lost that match. And then in their 1-1 round, so their round 3, they were able to beat Noxus and kick JLD's team out of the tournament. Meanwhile, if we look at Demacia's side of things, so this is Terra Panda or Biwahaya's team, they lost in week 1, obviously, to Shurima, but then have gone back-to-back on the wins against Ionia and Zorn, who are both teams who are out. So we need to mention that I think their strength of schedule, dictated by that week 1 loss, probably a little bit easier, but they have momentum on their side, so cannot be ignored there. And also, they've had some upgrades in their roster as well. Their week 1 roster had Ghostman in the AD carry position, whereas they now have Mass in their AD carry position, who has been very strong for them in week 2 and week 3. So cannot be stated how the challenge here for both sides is going to be a little bit altered. We've got a slightly weaker Shurima side. They are, they scraped out against Noxus, and I believe again a 2-1 victory. But they're missing their primary support. And then, like I said, we have this Demacia roster coming off of 2 back-to-back wins with a new AD carry, looking pretty strong. But let's run through the individual lanes before we get into Champ Select, Mahasvara. Tell me, where should we be looking for either a Shurima victory or for a Demacia victory? Let's start with Shurima first. How does Shurima win this game?
Right, so Shurima wins this game basically by, in my opinion, playing together properly, putting their egos aside and just passing out proper communication. Because team-wise, if you count up all the ranks they currently have, they're just outperforming Demacia by quite a margin on that. Now, that is where things become interesting, because technically this Shurima team, on paper, should have been 2-0. The fact that they have been upset by Piltover means that there are some issues or kinks that they need to iron out. So that's the first thing that goes on. Meanwhile, the Demacia side, since subbing out their Ghostman as AD carry, have done nothing but win, play, and played rather well for some of the limiting factors, which we will discuss on later on. If I look at the 2 top laners, it will be BMW versus Syntheth. Now, both of them have got their mains. One of the for BYM, it's Darius. For Syntheth, it's his Aatrox, which, truth be told, likely will be on the ban bench for the series, in my personal opinion, or I would expect that, unless a proper game plan has been drafted against that. But we'll see how that goes. Then in the jungle, we have Expert Bogger against Fluttershy. And Expert Bogger is kind of like the jack of all trades, the master of none. His champion pool has a bit of everything. It's got AP, it's got AD, it's got tank. There is some bruiser in there. There is some carry potential in there. So a lot of options available. But as I see, we are already jumping into the draft, and I will keep the rest for later on. Whereas Shutterfly is a Briar main. We see that the Kane is already getting banned, and that one is targeted against Expert Bogger, so they're getting rid of that. Meanwhile, I feel that Absolute Shurima should be looking at Mats and Synteth in ban, so I would be expecting a Swain, a Varus or Smolder. Here it's a Varus already, and an Aatrox.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see what they will be letting through.
Yeah, I agree on the Aatrox ban. I think the Synthet off of the Aatrox, there is a marked difference on his skill. But yeah, on that Aatrox, he does look clean. Mass has several strong AD carries that I think they should be taking out. We didn't quite get to talk about it pre-draft, but the weak side here for Shurima is obviously going to be Gumasushi and Hide on Hooks. Their synergy won't be quite there, obviously with Center being missing. But Mass and Jaden have probably been the stronger side here for Mage haters. You know, they weren't able to lock up a win without Mass here. And you know, Jaden, for questionable plays we may have seen him make, when you give him a champion like a Blitzcrank or, you know, someone with the ability to kind of make a pick, he can find very abstract angles and has found success with that. You know, and if he can continue to feed mass kills here, get them, you know, create pressure in his lane, I think that's going to be something that they could use to try and leverage and win. As we see these final bans come out, and it's going to be a B1 Pantheon here, presumably by Mage haters, which I really like because it's a poach. It poaches it away from Hide on Hooks and Expert, both of whom can play it. Synthet can play it top if he wants to, and Fluttershy can play it in the jungle, I believe. I'm not sure if we have any games on it, but their champion pool, from what I've seen, I believe they should. I'm looking at you.
It was like not Tanks, listed. Champion pool.
Tanks and Gwen.
Tanks and Gwen. So,
but it can
likely
go to the jungle though.
Likely Synthet top, and this is one of his blindable champions. The one where he's like, "You give me this, and I will find a way to impact the game, be it through the roams or the use of his ultimate, or through proper." Outright outlaning his opponent. So that's the interesting part. Now, for me, if you look at Gumasushi and Gibbons, they have already locked up their bot lane. So they have passed that information out, which is a bit surprising to me. I would have expected a match of a jungler and maybe the AD carry, or outright identifying that this Pantheon is going to go to Synteth. So I think you could have already gotten your top lane and saved it for later.
We don't know yet, right? This is the thing with the Pantheon. The Pantheon could go one of three lanes in reality. Like, they could give it to Fluttershy, Jaden, or Synthet. So I like the idea that they know their bot lane is their weak side. They've taken away a hyper carry from Mass, and they've taken away a hook champion from Jaden. So they've taken away two. And it's also a very stable lane. Like, Yunara is a champion. If you get her kills, if you get her fed, she can carry the game in that 25 plus minute mark, right? But Mage haters are going to match it with one of the most obnoxious AD carries on this patch in Ashe. So her ability to poke from far away is very annoying. And again, they've given Jaden here that engage. They've given him that go button. They've given him the Leona here. Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, very good tools for him to try and create picks in team fights. But we're going to see the Olaf picked up here for BMW, for Mac Moody in the top lane. A champion we've seen him play a couple times, I believe.
Yeah, and my personal opinion here is, you know, that after drafting all this CC is absolutely fantastic, but there's one guy who can just run through it. It's Olaf. You know this is on BMW's order to pick, so I feel that this is, even though I really like what the Mage haters have done, I kind of feel that this is a failed thing to foresee in the picks and bans, where Nautilus technically does the same as Thresh. You should have thrown that in there. So we'll see how that goes. That Olaf is probably going to be key for this series, and that we'll see how they set up afterwards. Meanwhile, and there was the one thing I really wanted to talk about. You let through Briar and didn't pick it up. Considering that is Fluttershy's absolute favorite champion, they could have gone for it here. So it's a bit surprising
They
they
took
didn't
away
pick that up.
Silas. They took away the Silas and then took away Malphite immediately after. I was kind of assuming that that was going to be an R4 Malphite pick there, but they have chosen against it. Although now I realize it's because of the fact that we are on the red side team actually have first pick, so you can see that the B4 actually pick has gone to a Mumu here for Expert Bogger in the jungle. Very good engage tool here. I love the lockdown that Absolute Shurima have on this roster. If Gumasushi doesn't get shut down in lane, he has all the tools in the world in this game right now to be able to punish people. You know, they've got Olaf running in on the backline with very little to stop him right now. They're looking to hover this Sejuani, who again cannot lock down Olaf when Ragnarok is active. So it's gonna be hard there. Meanwhile, Ashe is super immobile, and you know we've got Curse of the Sad Mummy, Bandage Toss, Dredge Line. We have the Nautilus Halt, the ultimate as well. It's gonna be really hard for Mass to be able to stay alive in some of these team fights, as we see the final pickup here, mid lane here for Watanabe Akari for Terra Panda is gonna be the Aurora, being forced to blind into Cat Bandito, who I think has been one of the best mid laners in lower bracket thus far. I would argue only really marred by their own hubris of believing they can play any champion in mid lane. You know, I think when we see Cat Bandito on a champion, on a champ like Victor, here we go, on a standard mid laner, on a control mage, someone like the Talia that we saw get banned in stage 1, they run mid lane in lower bracket. So gonna be keeping our eyes on this Victor Aurora matchup. I imagine it is Victor favored here. You know, he could just poke out with the E and make it really hard for Terra Panda to really be able to do anything on this Aurora. Aurora really needs to kind of create pressure, right? She's gonna have to look elsewhere now, because I don't think there's gonna be much in the way of kill pressure in the mid lane. But how do you feel about these completed drafts, Aswara?
Well, I'll put it this way: if it was anything else in top lane except Olaf, I really would have liked what the Mage haters did, because they have drafted CC in nearly every single role. The only one you can say isn't hard CC is the mid lane for Terra Panda. But other than that, it's hard CC across the board. You can lock somebody down. Anybody who's going to the backline, you can basically lock them down again, or send some form of CC on their way. So they could have really gone for a really easy front to back team fight, right? However, that Olaf exists, and that's just the problem, because right now you've got arguably three problems that are created. First off, the Olaf can run through all the CC, so he can chase whatever target he wants. That's going to be the first problem. The second problem is you've got the Amumu and the Nautilus, who can come in, but especially the Amumu with his Curse of the Sad Mummy, just ults, and then it's ideally set up for Victor to do a percentage of his AP damage, which is already high, is going to get converted through Amumu's passive to true damage. So that means that your tanks all of a sudden are slightly less effective, and knowing that he's got that ever-expanding ultimate, not right off the bat, but after a certain amount of time, he will have that. It creates a
it grows every time they have a killer assist while it's active. So
it's
it can become a bit of a death spiral. I agree.
They get stacks up to 100 each time. I think it's 5 or 10 for killing a cannon minion, and then for every minion that's killed, it's 1. An assist gives you 25, or a kill gives you 25, and that's how they rank it up real fast. So this, to me, I would favor Absolute Shurima for this upcoming series, because I think that there might be a bit too much going on to shut them down. The only way, and this is the preface that I'll make, the only way that this goes into the Mage haters' two ways. First off, Absolute Shurima gets too overconfident in themselves would be the first one. But the second one is if Sintet can absolutely demolish BYM in the top lane. If he can do that, then I think there's a chance here, because then you can just blow BYM up while he's running in with his Ragnarok, blow no CC onto on him, and then just get. So
yeah, no,
meanwhile,
I agree with you. Although as yeah, gambling is up, boys. It's time. Bet your coins. Let's get it going. We have, I don't know how many coins I have. How many coins do you have, Matswara? I've got 4.4k.
I have I'm sitting on 2k, so I'll put in a 1k. I'm gonna be faithful to my boy Synthet. I'll throw in 1,000 there, see if we can get anything going on the Mage haters.
I'm going all in on Mage haters. So I wanna play devil's advocate here. So
okay,
your theory of how Absolute Shurima wins relies so heavily on someone I love to flame. Olaf BMW G30 in a different server in Mini LCS. There is a tried and true known meme about this man. It's called Mahmoudi Ornhack AECS in 20 minutes. He has been a weak side general for his entire career in officials. The only time he has not been a weak side general has been here in Runeterra Rising. And even still, the competition in top lane has not been easy in lower bracket. He has been up against guys like Synthet, who was obviously our first place all-pro top laner in Weenie Hut last season. He's been up against guys like Uncle Isma, who's on the undefeated Piltover team. You know, they've been looking really strong. Guys like JLD, who I saw in the chat, who obviously his team didn't make it out of the kind of Swiss stage, but still a strong top laner. And you know, if he loses this early game up against Synthet, it's not gonna matter that he can ignore the CC. If he doesn't, you know, hit the correct power spikes and kind of actually be able to get onto this backline, it's going to be really hard. And Ashe does a ton of damage. He's not going to be building particularly beefy. He's going to be going for stuff like Stride Breaker, where, yeah, there's a little bit of health, but there's no resistances. And if Ashe gets ahead in lane, she'll be able to shred him with her Q. It's going to be really hard for him to be able to get on top of them if he isn't already ahead. So it's going to be kind of make or break here in the top lane for BMW up against Synthet. And we spoke a lot about how Absolute Shurima win the game, but I want to speak a little bit about how I think Mage haters do, because their drafts are very similar, but there is so much more pick potential on the red side, you know? Synthet on this Pantheon, he obviously he can use his ultimate to get across the entire map if he needs to. He can get, you know, very far away from that top lane if he needs to try and help mid lane, if he needs to try and help bot lane, if he wants to contest an objective. He can go and match Olaf and then just be like, okay, cool, you don't have TP yet, and I do, so I'm going to just Grand Skyfall and land in somewhere with my Ignite and smoke someone, you know? And everybody on their team, apart from this Amumu, is pretty squishy. But look at this level 1 play right now. As we see, Ignite is going to come out immediately by Synthet. Flashes on both sides. And that is some really early action here in that top lane for BMW and Synthet. They heard me talking smack, and they were like, let's get straight to it. And, you know, 45 seconds in game, both players have no potions left. No flash, no potions. The only summon left up is Ghost here for BMW M3G. So, Mahmoudi a little bit down on the CS right now, but he's got control of the lane. He does have level 2 first as well. He's going to go in with the E. He's going to get first blood. And that is really quickly a gold lead here for Absolute Shurima. And, you know, I might lose my 4k coins here. I mean, I gotta hold out hope for my boy Mass in the bot lane. He is a little bit down right now, but that is not.
You had to cast the curses.
I did.
You had to cast the curses right off the bat. Of course, you just couldn't resist. So in that regard, it is typical Jack, making sure that he hypes something up, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, well, there's something really important that's ignored.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But meanwhile,
Synthet is not showing he's not showing Winter Open 2026 form. He's showing in-houses in Weenie Hut form right now. That man, his in-house form.
Shots are getting fired.
Rough, but, do you know what though? I'm not gonna hold out too much here, because I have seen him come back from worse. This is just first blood. It's not the end of the world. He is still up in CS right now. You know, the reset there, BMW wasn't able to actually shove the wave out completely, so Synthet hasn't been completely choked out of the game. He does also have Fluttershy pathing top side here, so they know there's no flash top. They could do something in the next minute if they look to it. She is a little bit behind though on the clear. Both junglers actually haven't full cleared here as they've gone towards that crab. We'll see a little bit of a stun come out here by Synthet. Fluttershy is hovering, but there is vision, so BMW knows not to worry about this. He just walks back, keeps cool head, cool heads prevail here, and that's going to be her going over to that crab now, finally. Meanwhile, Expert is going to finish his first full clear. He did prioritize getting the crab, which is going to mean his second clear is going to be a bit staggered because there's going to be like 30 to 45 seconds between when his chickens spawn and when those Krugs respawn. Generally speaking, I'm assuming he did that because they didn't know where Sejuani was pathing. And, he was actually totally safe, so it's unfortunate there for him. But we're going to see some trading here go off in this bot lane. Jaden's going to lock up hide on hooks, and we've got that Q fully stacked here for Mass. Mass is going to be looking for something. Expert is in the wings, though. Should be a kill, but the hook is going to land on Mass, and he's going to go down immediately. And that is 1.1k here for Absolute Shurima as the bandage toss is going to land onto Jaden, and I think that might be a dead Leona, but it might not. She gets away. Ignite going to come out here in the top lane, and that is another kill for BMW. That is Mahmoudi showing the top lane how it is done right now. 700 gold, the majority of the gold lead here for that top side. Olaf is looking real strong right now. I don't know why Synthet took that fight. He was down in items. He was on just a Doran's Blade there. Meanwhile, Olaf had Doran's Blade plus 2 longswords. You don't win those fights.
Yeah, but the thing is that his Ignite came up, and I think that he realized that he had to try something before the Olaf got 6. As soon as the Olaf gets 6, he can just run him down in top lane, and he's got the XP lead. So I feel that time-wise, he got pressured into doing something. Unfortunately, it was not the right call. And right now, this is going to be a really interesting one here.
Bandito gonna get caught out. We're gonna see the stun come out here. Ultimate is popped here from Victor. Unfortunately, there for the Sejuani, the gank angle was good, but Biwahio just didn't have the resources, the facilities to really help with that one, as he's on like 10%, if less, mana and 30% health. So it was essentially a 1v1, but they might at least, they've kind of pushed him back out. They're now looking for a gank here on the bot side, which I think is ambitious here, considering the lane state isn't exactly great for them. But they've got camps up on that top side they could be getting to right now, meaning Expert is actually slowly eking a lead out here while Fluttershy looks for advantages. But if those camps don't get, stolen away, it's not too bad here. It's kind of no harm, no foul as we move towards 7 minutes in game.
But the important part here, though, is that look who is on which side of the map. Because right now, bot lane is getting pushed in for Absolute Shurima, and Amumu is coming around with Fluttershy being on the top side. If any time to take a dragon with you have Absolute Prior and bot lane, right now is the time to do so.
Should be free.
So I feel like
agreed, 100%.
This should be free. Question here is here we go.
Ragnarok is gonna come out here. Synthet gets the shutdown. Nice. Big shutdown there for Synthet. It's gonna completely even the gold lead there in that top lane as well. So really well played by him to know his limits there. He got the passive there on his Q, which gave him the execute onto the Olaf. Olaf popped Ragnarok, and with his Vamp Scepter, I think he thought he had a little bit more life still than he did, but it just doesn't matter in the face of that execute. And yeah, really well done here by Synthet. He's got a gold lead now and a CS lead because he was able to crash that wave. So good play by him. He does also have Grand Starfall now, I believe. So he could start looking mid lane here. And we see the movement there. Look, he is pathing mid. They see Cat Bandito up against that turret. And I think we might have a little 3-man fiesta here in the mid lane. Cat Bandito's a little bit. I think they sussed it out, though. They sussed it. Yeah, oh, here we go. Grand Skyfall is going to come out onto the Drake here, and it looks like we're going to see an early Drake priority from Mage haters here, trying to force away Absolute Shurima, and that's fundamentally just a missed window there for Absolute Shurima. They could have taken the Drake, like you said. They had infinite prio in the bot lane, and Fluttershy was top, but they just didn't pull the trigger on it, and they give away a Drake for free here. What they do get in return, though, is some plates here onto this Olaf. So he does rebuild his gold lead a little bit. He catches up in CS. He gets, I think, 2 plates there, I believe. So more than happy to have that on him, as he's going to hit that reset here. And looks like he's going for Ravenous Hydra as first item as opposed to Stridebreaker. But let's see, Fluttershy here going to come in. Solar Flare's going to land onto Hide on hooks. We're going to get the Zenith Blade down, and Fluttershy should lock him down. Mas has the Q stacked now, and he's going to get himself his first kill of the game. Gumasushi did pop ult and is tickling Jaden there, but I don't think they're going to get any more than that. And we're going to trade 1 kill here for all 3 grubs on the side of Absolute Shurima. So grubs these days are less potent than they used to be, but they're not a bad thing for this Absolute Shurima side. I think, you know, they have a really strong side lane pressure. Olaf is going to be really strong in the side lanes. I think that Victor is also very good at clearing waves, and he should be able to get some use out of those grubs. So
he should be transitioning to the side lane as well. Oh, but we get to fight him at that point.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Ragnarok is going to get popped here, but the healing is just not here for BMW, and it looks like he's going to have to flash that Q, and he really should be leaving. But with Expert Booker here, I think they really want to try and make something happen, but BMW isn't in a position right now to help. We're going to see Curse of the Sad Bomb. He's going to come out. Expert Booker is going to finish the kill here onto Synthet. First kill on the board for the Amumu. Mahmoudi Master Beta over there going to be able to make sure that Synthet gets killed. And it just stands around me like, no, you definitely want to commit to killing me. Trust, stay, please. And then Mumu comes in, finishes it off. And while they might be a camp or 2 behind here, that kill pressure or the gold off of the kill is going to be very nice for them, as we see they are only a little bit behind here in that jungle in terms of XP and CS. But
if you go back to that for a second, then the Synthet blew his flash while Olaf was literally standing next to him. I think if he doesn't blow his flash there and just commits to trying to kill Olaf, that he actually wins.
Hold up, we're gonna have another fight here though. Look at this, as we're gonna see BMW and Synthet get at it again. Another E's gonna land. He's gonna try for the W, and they're gonna get the execute with the Q, and that is Olaf just getting punished again. Just the pure burst from all of that AD that Synthet's got right now. Longsword, Caulfield's Warhammer, and a pickaxe. But never mind, we're going to have another fight here as Solar Flare's going to land with a Hide on hooks. Fluttershy's coming over the wall. We're going to see the Glacial Prism come out. And they're going to maybe kill Jaden. But Mass is fully stacked. And Mass is going to get 1. He's going to get 2. Maybe going to get the 3rd one. Fluttershy actually stole it. But I think they surely feed this to Mass. Volley's going to come out in a second. And he should be able to pick that up. And this is not where you want to be right now if you're Absolute Shurima. We mentioned the win condition for Mage haters is get Mass fed, and he is 3-1-1 right now. He's already got his Hex Optics. That was a really good time for them to take that fight, and Absolute Shurima were just wrong place, wrong time. And you know, we've got Drake up in 45, and they're going to be able to get complete priority here in the bot lane, get some plates. Going to get a reset here for Jaden as well. Grand Skyfall is going to come out for Synthet to try and keep Biwa Haya safe here, but Biwa Haya has been getting bullied really hard in this lane. It was the expectation when we went into the draft. You know, they intentionally gave last pick to Cat Bandito, make sure he could get the best lane they could. And also, like I said, pre-draft even, I think on standard picks, Cat Bandito is one of the best mid laners in lower. Just like, without a doubt.
If you just make sure that he doesn't try crazy stuff or egos his way out of things, then Cat Bandito by far is the best mid laner. No ifs, no buts about it.
And we're seeing it.
Looks like we get another fight in the bot lane.
It's gonna be about half of Hide on Hook's health just gone there, but top lane again, we're gonna get another scuffle here. BMW gonna lose about 60% of his HP, pops a pot and lands an axe there, but I don't think he's getting much more out of it, as this first pick Pantheon has actually been putting in a ton of work. You know, you mentioned it earlier in the draft, but obviously you know Synthet a little bit more most would know that that's it, that the Pantheon was probably going top. But oh, hold up, the Ignite is ticking. I think BMW is going to still go down. Curse of the Sad Mummy means that we are going to see a Mumu finish the Pantheon, but that's such a big commitment here. And as Drake has respawned, we're going to see immediately Mage haters make their way towards that Drake. They know Expert's nowhere near, so it's a complete free take for them. And with the strength they have in the bot lane right now, it's free.
Yeah, I like this very much. Stacking up the Drakes, making sure you get them early, which is beautiful. Using Synteth as that lightning rod in top lane, because this is, it's a bit of a double-edged sword in the top lane. Synteth is absolutely amazing at drawing a lot of focus onto him, making sure that people will commit resources to him, and generally getting something out of it. The example here being in a 1v2, he ends up getting 1 kill, which technically should not be happening if we are completely honest about it. That being said, his downside is he tends to not always check what his teammates are doing, just overextends that wee bit, which then can get punished. So the fact that they're putting in this focus into top lane, I kind of like it right now, because it is really good. You got to do that, because that is one of the ways you can get ahead, and you can get BMW ahead.
Skyfall's gonna come in. Gonna see Expert land the bandage toss. He's gonna jump onto Cat Bandito here, but the lockdown is gonna be a lot, and Syntheth's just gonna go down. I'm gonna see the TP come in here by Olaf. Ragnarok's gonna come out. Biwahaya is gonna get on the ult there, and I think this is just gonna be Olaf dying, and we're just gonna see top laners run it down in tandem there in that play, as both of them just move to the mid lane to feed kills over to the other side, and that's actually, I think, worse there for Absolute Shurima. Yeah.
Both mid laners get a kill. So now the thing for me is, in all fairness, I actually think it's worse for Shurima, because Shurima had the clear advantage. They didn't have to commit to what they just did.
Yes. And they committed teleport as well. That's a 7-minute cooldown. They're down 2 Drakes, and now their top laner cannot physically move to the next Drake. We're going to see the Crystalline Enchanted Arrow come out. We're going to see Flash into the Solar Flare, trying to get Gumasushi, and they smell blood right now, as the hook is going to go wide by hide on hooks, and that's going to be the 4th kill here over to Mass, who is looking really strong right now.
And thank God that Amumu Bandage Touch didn't hit, because I think he would have been in a really, really bad spot at that point. Because Gumasushi would have been able to contribute nothing anymore. Meanwhile, we do see a Herald take, and the question is if they will contest this, because I do feel that they could. The question being
wants to, but I don't think they can. Here. Yeah, with Fluttershy being there, they give it over to Synthet here, who I think is in a bad place. He's going to E to try and mitigate some of the damage, but yeah, he really shouldn't have gone that way if he was trying to get out. He's going to get caught by 3 members of Absolute Shurima, and they're going to reclaim their gold lead here. Going to feed that kill onto, I believe, the Olaf, who does have first item completed now. And this is going to be a straight fight onto Massa. Massa's going to get caught out. Hide on Hooks is going to take that kill there. And now it's going to be Jaden up against 2. We're going to see the cleanse come out. I don't even think you needed to cleanse that, Kuma. You were fine here. There's no way this Leona has enough damage. But never mind, he does! Oh my god, the W pop from Jaden just obliterates the AD carry. When did that have that much damage? I'm not a bot laner. I can't tell you how much damage Leona's supposed to have. But Leona's trolling now. Aftershock pops, and he gets out. But nah. That all sorts of illegal stuff has happened in that bot lane.
I feel like there was a handshake of we shall let the supports live at the end. Meanwhile, we do see another ult from Synteth, and here we do see a Flash being burned by Cat Bandito at long last. But I feel like there's Synteth ends up being sniped nonetheless. And will we see another repeat?
Biwahaya's gonna get caught here. Nice on the Curse of the Sad Mummy. It's not great to commit that for one person, but oh no! The Crystalline Enchanted Arrow misses onto Guma. We see the flash commit here from Mass, but the damage here from Guma's kind of here. It's actually way closer than it should have been, as that is a 2-item Ash up against a 1-item Yanara, and he very nearly died. We're gonna see commit there from the ultimate of Sejuani. Mass is gonna pick his 2nd kill up, and that's a 5-minute cooldown on that flash that you burnt for a very close 1v1 for the Ashe. And I do worry that if they can punish this, Cat Bandito, you know, he's 2-0-2 right now. He's got 2 items. He's got both of the best burn items in the game for my money in the Blackfire Torch and Leandries. So I think it's going to be really hard for the next 5 minutes for Mage haters to really have pressure on the map, as their AD carry is going to be, he's going to have to play safe or he might get popped. You know, the hide on hooks has been landing some really good hooks, and especially Expert has been landing really good bandage tosses here. So if they can use this cooldown, if they know that that is on cooldown, Drake is up. This is their time, in my opinion, to really pressure for that Drake, you know. And look, we can even see the members here of Mage haters, they aren't even trying to play for it. Grand Skyfall is up right now, or is it Grand Starfall? I can never remember. So
Awful.
Pantheon can join, but he is currently pressuring that top side. He's going to pop the Rift Herald, and they're going to trade here. They're going to give over the Drake. They're going to then, you know, delay their soul, as they probably see it, by 5 minutes here to get that top tier 1 and hopefully get a second usage of the Herald here. Although it's getting kind of close. It's going to just... No, it's going to die. Never mind. Okay, Synthet took too long there. I think did he cancel an auto attack there? Because like, to me, it looked like he should get it, but maybe I'm wrong. So it's going to be Herald for 1 turret. Yeah.
It's 2.5 plates, and Herald will only pop if it's an untouched turret for quite a while with the bonus damage, and then you can have 2 plates in a bit. Or if it's 1 plate, 1.7 plate, then it will pop it. Otherwise, it just won't pop the turret right off the bat. And the problem here is that he did touch it earlier, which hence meant that there wasn't enough damage, and the hardest plate is the one at the end to take. So I just think that he summoned the Herald up too early because he wanted to create a pressure point on the map, and therefore doesn't end up getting a second charge. But still, I mean, it cuts down the gold a bit.
Build and thinking, you know, he went for a Kindle Gem here as his like component of choice, when what I imagine is going to be a Black Cleaver. But generally, you probably want to prioritize the damage components as opposed to the Kindle Gem there. I don't know if the CDR he gets from it is really worth it. Oh. The Biwa Haya going in here on a very bad choice. Burns his flash as well. And that was just catastrophe there for the Aurora. Commits everything and loses 3k gold lead just in the mid lane alone, as Cat Bandito looks primed to carry this game, to be honest. This game really feels like it's going to be a tale of 2 players. It is going to be Cat Bandito up against Mass. They are both carrying the majority of their team's gold lead right now. But, you know, we've got that X Factor in the Olaf right now, who he's going to make it real hard for Mass to be able to be comfortable, you know? Again, with no flash for the next 30 seconds or so. If anything does happen, we're going to see 3 commit onto this top lane play. Expert is eating the shit out of this turret right now, and he very nearly goes down, and they haven't dropped aggro yet, so they do finalize it. Luckily for them, they have to burn a flash there on the Amumu, but in comes the cavalry as Mass and Jaden are here. We're going to see the Ignite come out of hide on hooks, but now with the fully stacked Q, Mass is going to be very happy to just shred down on the Nautilus. He's going to get himself an easy double kill there onto BMW. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Cat Bandito is looking to punish Biwa Haya again. You flashed for no reason a minute ago, friend. You do not deserve to live anymore. Cat Bandito is going to pick that one up with a laser there. Easy E on it. And yeah, that death is
there's something we've
rough.
Overlooked to talk about earlier, being the rune choice of Cat Bandito and the new rune in general, Deathfire Touch, which with burn items creates this insanely long burn, which makes certain that with the current build that he's going, it's really good against tanks, but even against squishes, because they're going to be burning for a very, very, very long time, which is going to create a lot of pressure onto the Ashe, and is currently causing absolute problems for Panda. Despite Panda having earlier used his flash, I even think if he'd have his flash, it would still provide a massive amount of problems. Now, the interesting part is I'm not sure where his upgrades are, but I'm going to take a guess here. 200 CS means that should be, at the very least, 200 stacks. So that's 2 upgrades, couple of kills and assists. he should be fully upgraded by now, which is going to start causing the absolute grand issue. And not only that, production also confirmed he's fully upgraded, he's fully online, so this is going to start causing problems here onwards. And I'm not sure who you sent to match. I'm not sure who you sent to match.
Honestly,
Cat
who
Bandito.
can you?
Because
whoever you send to match Cat Bandito in a side lane right now, you have to. You're turtling. That's your choice. That's all you really have right now. The only way they can really do anything to him, in my opinion, is to send multiple people to shut him down. Because we do see he's got 357 gold shutdown right now. And he is a mobile. You know, when you get that flash off of him, you do have Synthet with the W. You do have Fluttershy with all of the CC in the world to lock him down. It's just about actually doing it right now. And currently, we're seeing 3 members here of Mage haters kind of float in this bottom side of the jungle where there's nothing to be gained. Drake is up, and they're probably thinking to try and take it. Is it not? Oh, right.
And
okay.
the other thing I would also...
The UI is bugged.
The other thing I would also like to point out is if production would
hold up. Hang on. We're going to see Synthet get shredded here in the bot lane. He walks in blind into a bush, and that is Expert and BMW picking up a freebie there. And that's going to give them complete control here of that Dragon Pit. And sorry, I had to cut you off there, but that did look like it was going to just be a free kill, and it ended up turning into it. So say what you were saying beforehand as they get that second Drake.
I'll reserve judgment until I see that this fight is over in the mid lane. Because I feel like we're not done yet.
Hide on Hooks is looking. They're fishing for something. But, you know, we have 4 members here of Mage haters. Biwahaya is on the side here. And I think, honestly, this Aurora has had an incredibly difficult game. Her job in this game is to try and burst Guma and, you know, find picks on side lanes. And they haven't been able to do it because they've been constantly under duress. You know, the Victor and the pressure from the Amumu in the mid lane as well has made it so it's really hard. And we see he tries to go and Viz there, but he just eats an auto attack there by Idol Hooks. Fluttershy is here to try and protect. We're going to see the Grand Starfall come out here onto Cat Bandito. Everyone's sending everything in the kitchen sink towards the Victor, but it's not going to be enough. We're going to see Xenoblade come out here. Hide on Hooks is going to go down, and this is looking kind of maybe positive. It is actually a 2-for-1 there, as we see Victor is going to clip the Pantheon with his ultimate at the end. And it is Cat Bandito up against the world while Guma and Olaf push on the side lanes. And they do finally feed that shutdown here onto Mass, but what can they do with this now? It's 26 minutes in game. There isn't a turret for them to take. They're going to lose that mid tier 2, and they're going to take a lot of a beating here onto the bot tier 2. I'm surprised we didn't see calls for Baron start there, but I guess they just want to play it safe here. They send several members here bot side to try and stop McMoody from taking this tier 2 bot, but I don't think they can stop him. Honestly, he's quite a low though. Actually, never mind. He just about gets it because the W shield comes in. And now with Ragnarok active, he's thinking maybe I can make something happen. Does get the flash out of the Aurora, so not bad considering he was definitely dead.
If you wouldn't mind me cutting you in, because I feel like this is probably the best time to talk about it. If production would be kind enough to throw over to XP earned, this is something I'd like to point out, because if you're going to look at XP earned, you're going to see that the 2 solo lanes from Absolute Shurima are clearly ahead, whereas if you look at who has the most XP or close to most XP for the Mage haters, it is the AD carry, which shows you that right now resource allocation and XP allocation, they're trying to feed everything into Mads to make him as strong as possible, which is really good, understandable, and
Crystalline Arrow is going to come out here, and we're going to immediately see the cleanse by Guma trying to keep himself alive there, and smart play by him to just not even think about it, because at the time he couldn't actually see the Leona, I believe, so he's just instinctually like, no, there might be people here, I'm bailing. And we can see the damage chart there shows how hard this game has been for Yunara, and they look like they might be catching Hide on Hooks here. I think it should still be a kill here. We're going to see a commitment of the ultimate by Fluttershy. Fluttershy is going to clip him. Jaden actually gets it, and Grand Starfall is going to come in here for the red side. And do you know what? Considering how one-sided individual matchups have been in this game is incredibly close. And we're going they jump straight onto Guma, who is caught out. He has to hit flash immediately. And that is going to be Absolute Shurima running with their tail between their legs. And it is so close here, as we're going to see a nice chunk come out onto that tier 1 mid turret. and we haven't spoken about this as well, but looking at the gold, right? Look how many turrets Absolute Shurima have taken in comparison. There is so much free gold on the map for Mage haters right now. They have, what, the tier 1 mid, every single tier 2 yet to get. There is only one tier 2 left for Absolute Shurima to get, and they are still behind in gold. So I genuinely do think, even though it feels like Cat Bandito is kind of Thanos right now, it's gonna be an uphill battle for Shurima. They've equaled up these dragons, and I think that might be the equalizer here, right? Is like, if we can get Soul, Hextech Soul gives us tons of damage. It synergizes amazingly with Victor, amazingly with Yunara as well. You know, essentially giving them a free static shiv. So if they can get that, then that's probably going to be the difference here. But we'll have to see.
Look at the downside, though, and this is a.
Wait, hold up. Ash is maybe in danger.
If you want to talk about how they basically win out Absolute Shurima, is if they commit both the ults from their solo laners onto the Ashe, I think there's a real problem. And
if they kill Ashe, the game doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
If they kill Ashe, the game is over. Like, it doesn't matter.
And Cat Bandito's lasers have been chunking the tanks for 20-30% of their HP each and every time. See, they keep burning. Look at how long Jaden is burned here. He's still burning. The burn is only over now, which is going to cause real problems.
Another laser. This is really messy. If we see an engage here by Expert, he could get a multi-man curse on a Sad Mummy. Immediately the ultimate comes up by Cat Bandito, and look how big that circle is. It is all over as quickly as you could imagine for the side of Demacia. They pussyfooted around for like 25 seconds in a very tight space against a team that loves to fight in chokes. You cannot physically do that against a team with the Victor ultimate, who is already on 3 and a bit items. You know, with the Amumu, who's so happy to just be like, oh, you guys are all within like 100 like units. Say less. Q, oh, I hope you like not moving, because you cannot do it for at least 1.25 seconds. And at that point, with the amount of damage that the Victor has, Gumasushi gets the press R and just auto people. It doesn't even matter that he's 3k down. He has damage, and you're not that tanky. The only person on that team that has any stats, really, that can maybe mitigate Guma is the Sejuani. You know, she's the one that's stacking armor right now. And notably, all she's stacking is armor. She's got Steel Caps, Thornmail, Sunfire Cape. Cat Bandito's burning her so badly. It's so hard for them to play. Although I do want to quickly shout out, we did get a Prime sub, so big shout out to Uncle Isma for the Prime sub there. We appreciate you. Big thank for that one. And now the game, for me, the game is Absolute Shurima's to lose right now. They blew up the gold lead to just under 4k. They got the Baron off of it. They got Soul Point off of it. You know, now they just need to play this correctly, and I think the game should be free for them.
And look for a second, because initially I saw a QSS come out from Mads, but he has sold that and decided to be like, yep, it's not going to work out for me on that regard. Look at what Cat Bandito has built, because this is where I find Cat Bandito being really smart. He's gone with 4 technically burn items, but one of them is going to shred away all MR, a little bit of MR that you're going to have on your team is going to get shred away. So right now you've got the passive from Expert Boga converting AP damage, 10% of that to true damage. And you've got an item that's with a burn is going to continuously tick. So technically the Victor is going to end up doing true damage or close to true damage to champions, which is absolutely insane. And that, for me, turns the 2 tanks will be nullified, and that means
that's silly
outright there.
They might as well be Play-Doh in the hands of Cat Bandito right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for them to really be able to do anything. Look at the amount of cannon minions in this wave, by the way. They've built this wave up perfectly so that it's just going to take the objectives for them here. You know, they can just stand there and let these cannon minions just shred the inhib. And they get it for free here. We're going to see 5v5 potentially up in this top side. The minions, again, 2 cannons just going to crack down. They don't even need to hit the turrets. The cannons are doing it for them. And it is so hard here for the side of Mage Haters to really be able to punish here. As we see Synthet lose about a third of his health. We're going to see the commitment of the ultimate by Cat Bandito. They're going to take that inhib here again. So that's 2 inhibs down. We still have a massive wave here. And if they continue to give that the Baron buff, it's going to just start beating down on Nexus turrets. And look at them. Nearly half HP on the Nexus turret. We're going to see Mass have to kill some of those right now. But here comes a wave from the mid lane. And now it's even harder for them to do anything. You know, we've got 50 seconds until the next Drake. And it is really the onus here on Mage Haters to stop this push here. And, you know, Absolute Shurima are happy to take this low and slow right now. We see Hide on Hooks is going to have to hit the flash hit, Hook to try and get himself out. The Solar Flare is going to come out. They do go onto BMW, but look, the carries here for Absolute Shurima aren't actually touched there. You know, we see Amumu and Victor and Yunara, they're all full HP. BMW is going to hit the reset here, and we're going to see Hide on Hooks hit the reset. But Amumu's looking to just start this Drake on Sport. It's up in 20 seconds, and he should be fine with it. I think we're seeing he's going to take the crowd.
The portals are really forgiving. You can do late backs, use the portals, rush back to the thing. Now the problem is with the 2 inhibs down, it means that they at least have to keep 1 person, probably 2 even, in the base to clear out the minions, which gives you
look at that wave clear as well. By the way, one laser from Cat Bandito decimates the wave. It's so hard to kind of create pressure here for Mage Haters as Victor and gonna see Jaden walk up here. He's gonna eat the passive there off of Hide on Hooks. The hook is gonna land. Dredge line does connect. Mass is here as well. He's got the GA, so he's kind of close as he's gonna get.
I like
to
this
full
way more.
in this game.
I like this way more. Going through the mid lane, making sure that the choke point isn't that small. That gives you more chances here to do something.
Eyes on BMW. Eyes on BMW. He is looking for an angle. Synthet has to scare him away. And at this point, I think you're remiss to say, Synthet's job is just keep Mass safe. If he can't, like, his job is to use W on whoever tries to kill Mass. He is not someone who should be emitting pressure, although we're going to see Grand Starfall come out here. He's going to land it onto 3. We're going to see OKB Wahaya gets the shutdown onto Kuma Sushi, and that's going to be a very messy fight here as Synthet is going to go down. Look at the Victor ult. The Victor ult is destroying people in the center of this fight. Fluttershy is going to go down. Hextech Soul is going to be picked up by Absolute Shurima, and look at the size. Cataclysmic ultimate by Cat Bandito as we see TPs, 3 TPs coming out onto that top side. They are going to just go with the wave and end this game. Sorry, it was only 2 TPs, but point still stands as we see the solo laners here for Absolute Shurima. They've been levels ahead all game, and they're going to take game 1 in this series. They are looking for 3rd place here in the lead to playoffs.
Yeah.
Congratulations there to Absolute Shurima in that game 1. You guys did a splendid job. What do we want to see different here, Mahasvara, going into game 2? If you're Mage Haters, what are we changing?
For me, the idea of the comp was excellent. Basically, you had everything sorted out, except there's one really important thing. If you're going to set that up that much CC, which was working to a T, by the way, you need to make sure that you don't have that one person that just runs through everything. Because if it's only Cat Bandito you have to be concerned with, or only the Olaf, this game was winnable then. Problem is, there were 2 absolute big problems they had to deal with, and they couldn't get that over the line. So I like the idea of what they've done. I like where their head was, but they doubled down onto something that wasn't going to work at the end. So you need to find something to contain a certain person. Maybe even create an extra terrain in that regard. Because I know that the mid laner plays Talia, and that Terra has pulled out Talia before. Why not pull it out here? It would have been ideal to split up the fight, and you have a natural source to deal with the Olaf. So I think that there was a little that they went for a setup comp that they had planned out in advance, and it was gods be damned, whatever the opponent picks, we're going with that. You need to be a little more flexible with your 2nd round picks. I think that if they can do that, they could have brought this home. Now, the interesting part, though, is from the options that are still available, they have a couple of really strong ones that they can still choose. They get side selection. My guess is that they are going to go to the other side and give Synteth the counter pick, because if Synteth gets that counter pick in the top lane, I think there's some fun to be had there. So multiple things can still happen. Meanwhile, for Shurima, I think your bans are good. You stick with what you got and you see how that works out. Unless you've got something else to add, I suggest. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the onus isn't on Shurima here to change anything. You know, what they went into that game with the game plan, and the game plan worked. What I will say though is, if they draft similarly, there isn't another champion like Olaf they can use to mitigate all of that CC. What I would like to see here from the side of Mage haters, I want something stable in the mid lane. You know, I don't want to see stuff that you need to get kills on from the side of Terra Panda, but I know that his champion pool kind of leans towards that. He's a avid Akali player. He's you know, we've already seen the Aurora come out here.
I think
Lissandra
there are two.
well.
I think there are two picks that are well within his pool that could really sort that out. Both of them are blindable. So the question is, will Shurima identify this? There are two of them. Both of them are blindable, and I will talk about them in the next draft. Make sure that we don't give that away. But there are two important picks, and I want to see if he gets one of them. Unless we have
without spoiling those. I was gonna say, without spoiling those, let's cut ourselves to a break, and we'll see all you guys in 5 minutes. Hopefully with the draft for game 2 ready to go. So stay seated, get yourselves like a drink or something. We'll see you all in 5 minutes. Peace. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we bring you back to game 2 here of the third place tiebreaker in our Runeterra Rising inaugural split lower bracket games between Shurima, Absolute Shurima, and the Demacia side of Mage Haters. So for those of you who missed game 1, just to give you a little recap, very back and forth affair. Very close in terms of gold. Needs to be said that despite the fact that it felt like Absolute Shurima were dictating the pace of the game, they were dropping a lot of free stuff, a lot of free drakes, a lot of free kills, and that kept the game very even, despite them having control over certain objectives, like getting turrets, and they got grubs and a couple drakes and whatnot. Early game, they did give away a few free drakes, but their team comp fundamentally did eke out at the end, with Cat Bandito having in my opinion, a very strong performance on the Victor. So our guys are going to be keeping our eyes here on that mid lane for game 2. Mahasvara, talk me through draft here as we move into this. We've got Varus and Aatrox, so same bans here from Absolute Shurima. Kane and Talia banned away for the Mage Haters. So again, looks like they're keeping the same.
However,
here.
we get an
see the
adaptation.
Smolder left open and Siva taken instead.
We get an adaptation indeed. The Silver is going to find herself on the ban list, which to me is signaling.
You sound really
that,
quiet. I can't tell if that's because of me or because of the stream.
Guma.
Hold up.
Hello. Okay, so to me that was going to signal that they wanted to take the Smolder away, which is why they absolutely wanted to leave it open. That means that right now, not only do they not have to throw a ban at it, but they actually get to remove it for the rest of the series, which I think is really smart. And that means that Mads is going to have to default to something else. In the previous series, he did default to Jhin, so that's probably the champion that he will be going for this time around, and that also feels like, so we're getting a Smolder Jhin matchup, which kind of puts the onus onto the Mage Haters, because Smolder does stack and does become a real team fighting menace later on into the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how that is going to progress. Now, for me, what is more interesting is what are they going to put together with the Jhin. We will have to see that a bit later, but I'm a massive fan of this Briar pick, because this is Fluttershy's best pick, and now we're getting to see it. They left it open between Fluttershy's Briar and any of the other champions. There's a 300k mastery difference in points wise.
Right. So
all the rest is 50k. This is 340k, so big one here. And the other adaptation that we didn't get to talk about earlier either was that the Mage Haters, they didn't ban out the Thresh this time. They got a ray of the Caitlyn as an adaptation, which means that Hyde on hooks will be getting his hands on Thresh, one of his best champions, and they're going to pair that with a Shen. Now, the interesting part here is that Shen is most likely an answer to Briar, because you get to deny a boatload of her auto attacks with the Shen. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. It's a W that denies it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. Then on the other side, Jaden is going to...
Do you think the Shen is top, or do you think the Shen is jungle here? Because it could be both.
Jungle. It's jungle.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain that it's jungle. This fits more into experts' wheelhouse than BMWs. They could pass it over to BMWs, but I'm fairly certain that this is a counter pick directly for that Briar. We do see a non-traditional enchanter being matched with the Jhin, which is slightly interesting. So the Nami being picked away. And heavy bans towards the top lane, removing the Renekton and the Darius. And on the other side, they're removing the Volibear and the Xerath. So this leaves a couple of options open. My guess is that I would be surprised if we're not going to see a sort of tank come out from the top lane, and technically this should be a counter pick for mid lane. So we should be seeing the top laner here.
Okay, no, never mind. They want to
no,
lock
sorry.
in Akali here. They're gonna just blind pick the best champion here for Terra Panther.
Totally forgot that they think. And remember that I was talking about 2 champions earlier, which you can easily blind. Akali was not one of them. The 2 of them.
No, I didn't think it was.
Were Orianna and Syndra. Orianna because her ultimate is a big impact ult, obviously, but more importantly, she can speed people up, make sure that you can get your carries and more specifically Synthet into proper positions, giving me access to the backline. So I feel that was one. Or Syndra can just basically shut down and temporarily replace everything with her Scatter of the Weak. So I feel that this is a bit of a bit of a letdown. I understand why they wanted the Akali, but I think that they kind of got baited into that pick because it was left open this time around. Meanwhile, we do see.
I mean, I was gonna say I don't think Xerath is really in Terra Panda's champion pool. So what that tells me here is when they've banned that away, it's just because it's OP on the patch. Like it's one of the best mid laners, but it's not like something specifically that Terra plays. And so I imagine that's why they've just banned it as like, let's get rid of generically good stuff. We're not worried about anything he might like be masterful on, you know? And so, you know, we've seen here, he's gonna go on his laurels here. He's gonna take out the Akali. We're gonna see Trundle in the top lane, blind, which I think is a brave choice, and it's gonna go into Zahen, which I really like for Mage haters. They've got Synthet on something he could probably carry if he gets fed on in the late game, you know? And they've got that very strong champion in the late game.
And this is why I was saying, I think that if you take into consideration the champion pool that Synthet wanted to be playing, and it was likely always going to angle towards his Zahen, for which, by the way, he got a skin from the mini LCSW. All team members got a skin to commemorate the victory, so he now has a skin for his Zahen. I better hope that he's going to be using it. That being there's only one Zahen skin.
Zahen has many skins. Yeah.
Zahen has one skin, so he had no skins for it. Now he has all Zahen skins, technically. That being said, the reason why
Immortal Journey Zahen.
And indeed, it's Immortal Journey Zahen. The reason why I wanted this Orianna here is Orianna would have paired really well together with the Zahen. Speed him up, make sure he can get into fights, make sure that he can move around easily, slow the opponents, Shockwave, pull them all in to get him for his Grim Deliverance, or do the Grim Deliverance and then use the Shockwave. There are multiple combinations of how you can use these, but they would have fed off together, off each other really well. So this to me is a bit of a missed opportunity, I think, of having that champion. Other than that, I really like what the Mage haters have drafted in terms of team comp. I gotta say, the Absolute Cinema did a very, very good job and had a very creative draft, making sure that you get rid of the Smolder, that Mance will not get access to that champion either, making sure that his Varus and Sivir remain banned. Means that you're really limiting what he can do, and him not being on a hyper carry, to me, or a champion that has hyper carry potential, is a job well done from the drafting perspective. So they made sure that they took out one of the general options that you consider to carry with the draft. And then the rest is the expert Bog. He had something ready for the Briar, so I really like how this draft has gone from them. They have thought this through in a very good way. So meanwhile, I am making the assumption that we've got some Gamba going up. Make sure, don't forget to get
yeah, Gamba's already up. It's already halfway through the thing. I've put money. I only had 210 because I gambled poorly the last time. Put it on Absolute Shurima to see how they go, just because I think the mid lane is going to decide this game, and I think that the lane here of Vex into Akali is very Vex favored. every time Akali needs to do anything to her, she has to get within range of potentially being feared, and it's just so hard to play. And knowing that Cat Bandito is strictly better than Terra, it's going to be hard for Terra to find an angle in this game, I think. One thing I did want to say, I think that the absolute Shurima comp, right? They've taken away the Smolder. Does Guma Sushi play Smolder much? I don't think we've seen it in any of their previous games, right? I think taking it away, if you're not super comfortable on the pick, it might be dangerous. You know, like Smolder's one of those champions. His early game is super weak, and if you can get punished by someone who, you know, we saw Mass generate leads in the early game last game. If he could do the same against this Smolder, if Guma struggles here, it's going to be hard. And then in the top lane, I think top lane should be free for Synthet here. I think it's really hard for BMW to do much on the Trundle here. And the onus is on him to make a lead early here, because I think the game, as it goes on, it actually favors Synthet more. I think that Zahen is more likely to 1v9 than the Trundle is. And we see this really good trading here by Cat Bandito. Ignite's going to get popped, and it's going to be first blood there at 3 minutes. Jugglers haven't even finished their first clear yet, and that is already a 500 gold lead in the mid lane. As we do a trade of flashes there, but it's, yeah, I think the absolute Shurima here looks strong.
I agree, but the difference for me here is, whereas I like the idea of, if you've got a game to burn, or you've got you get 2 if it's a best of 5, but this one being a best of 3, you can afford to take a gamble. You know that you're getting a counter pick either way. You got counter pick on mid, so technically and I'm pretty sure that they had something prepared for the Akali. So Cat Bandito is already showing off that he's mastered that part, and that he's using an advantage. If he can become an absolute menace, then you can afford to take a little losing bot lane. The other thing that I didn't point out yet is have a look at the summoner spells of Guma Sushi, which we'll do in a second, because I do feel that there might be something to go down. But okay, the TP. Nice. Flash TP instead of a summoner spell tells me all I need to know. He is not very comfortable in his champion, but it doesn't matter.
Ooh, gonna be an easy first kill there in the top lane here, as we see the Ignite ticks, and BMW burnt Flash for nothing there. And so, again, if you're Mage haters right now, I think you're very happy to see that, as we see a little trade here in the bot lane. Fluttershy is here, but there is vision. The wave is pushing in, so she might have an angle here. Guma has to flash immediately. Flay is going to come out to keep him safe, but now Hide on Hooks is in danger. He has to flash there to dodge the bubble, but he's still going to go down, as Mass is going to take that very handily. Mass is taking a ton of damage here from the wave, though, as he put himself in a kind of precarious position to secure that kill. I think he needs to reset as soon as they shove this, because he might be in danger. Healing will keep him a little less problematic, but yeah, here we go. Fluttershy is going to help shove this wave in. They're not actually going to crash it here. They're going to just take the reset, leaving the wave in the middle of the lane, which is not the best, but they do what they can here, as Fluttershy is going to be happy to get some impact on the map before Expert can. Although, nice trade here by BMW, able to punish the Zahen, who is actually, he did reset and has a better base, in my opinion, on that Sheen. Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, AD on Trundle is really strong. So, you know, he has the ability to siphon someone's AD with his Q, with Chomp. He gets attack speed off of his W, so, you know, like, AD per average on Trundle is pretty good. So, and it's nice to see him punish.
The big thing here is one of them is 6, the other is not, and Fluttershy's coming around.
Too. It's gonna be hard here. Moody might be getting caught out, as he's gonna probably die here, but we're gonna see Synthet commit to the dive. He will go down though, and that's kind of rough when you go for the 2-for-1. And this, funnily enough, I think am I tripping, or is this mirroring game 1 but on the other way around? In game 1, we saw absolute Shurima commit hard to top lane with their jungler, and then the Mage haters collect early Drakes. Meanwhile, we're seeing on the other side here, now absolute Shurima have their top laner get abused, and instead they just take a Drake and laugh straight back to the bank with it here, as Expert's gonna have his first meaningful impact in the game be a Drake take there. Infernal Drake gonna be taken. A little bit extra, I believe it's adaptive damage it gives at the moment. But yeah,
the thing
nice
was,
there for them.
the other thing I can point out is the wave was in a fairly decent state for Synthet. Unfortunately, Fluttershy did touch it, which now means that he has to step up. He still has his ult, but both of these guys have their ults. I'm just not sure who wins this.
I think it should. I think BMW needs to leave now. I don't think he wins this after the reset here, you know, and his passive is down. Now we should be sitting under our turret, dodging any Zahen Qs that come our way, because if he yanks us away from our turret, we die. And you just sit there with your passive, and you try and farm as much as you can, and you gain HP for free off of minions dying around you. And that's how he stays in lane here, because we know that Fluttershy is not nearby. He's going to lose a turret plate for it, but that's honestly, there are worse things in the world than that right now. He does have the Vamp Scepter here in his inventory as well, so it's he is going to be able to kind of heal up a bit here. And oh, Synthet took a very bad trade there. Gets caught by the pillar. Just takes a turret shot for nothing. And that's going to be the end of that exchange, it seems. Otherwise, I think we're chilling here.
One thing to point out is both Ignites have come back up in the top lane. So
yeah,
the first guy who actually gets a good pull or a proper pillar could very well just decide to all in, and Fluttershy is on the bot side.
Fluttershy here on the bot side. Gonna catch Guma with the bubble. Guma should just go down here. We're gonna see the ultimate come out. Stand United is on him, but he just about gets in, but then we see the nice knockback there by Fluttershy, and I think this is a very good showing here by the Briar, and we're gonna see the solo bolo topside as well. That's actually kind of crazy that the Trundle's able to win that. We haven't really spoken too much about runes, but look, he didn't even use Subjugate in that fight. He just rested on the fact that he knew with W, Q, and Lethal Tempo, I can 1v1 basically anyone. And okay, oh whoa, hold up, Fluttershy is gonna fly in with the Briar ultimate, but I think you might be dying here. We see the E isn't gonna quite land, but one more chomp, and that's gonna be a free kill. That was delivery, Uber Eats Briar straight to the bank of Trundle. That kill on the board there for him.
And unfortunately, if Briar doesn't try to use the E, I actually think that they just outright would have killed the Trundle. But the E is used, it whiffs to boot, and that just means that 2 more auto attacks get woven in, and BMW ends up taking that kill there. And right now, I am starting to be a bit concerned, because earlier you used the Shen to come bot lane. You did such a good job making sure that there was an elite there, and now it's just turn around real fast.
I think Synthet just dies here. I genuinely don't think he can do anything. His passive is down, so he's just going to get smoked. And just zero respect there from Synthet in that top lane. He needs to realize that after the Briar came in and accidentally fed a kill, he's just down, you know? Like, the Tiamat with the auto attack reset, Chomp is an auto attack reset, Lethal Tempo is so strong right now. You know, the Trundle's 1v1 potential is pretty much unmatched. He's even still going for the played steel caps here, because he knows he can kind of he's got the extra income. If he gets played steel caps, what's Briar gonna do? What's Synthet on the Zahen gonna do? Right? It's so value for him in this lane, and if he can continue to farm these 1v1 kills, you know, that can be the difference maker here. Although I will say that the gold is equal right now, and that's mainly due to this bot lane strength here from Mass and Jaden. They are looking really strong here in this bot lane. We've got Deathfire Touch on the Jhin, so gonna have a good little chunk of burn here to try and shred through those 2 tankier players in the Trundle and in the Shen. But I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it, because I'm not super familiar with the Jhin up against tanks. I think he struggles, but correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm not a bot laner, so in my head I'm like, he's like a burst champion, so I don't think he does well against them. But the bubble tidal wave is gonna connect by Jaden, and Guma barely walks out alive. Very clean play there by Jaden, almost securing the kill there for them in the bot lane, and gonna force that Smolder out of lane. And we can see Smolder's only on 57 stacks here at 11.5 minutes. So he is pretty down on stacks right now. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the like going rate for good Smolders is like 10 stacks a minute, I think, or it might be a little bit more than that.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit more. He's severely down right now, so it's hard for this Smolder.
Basically, you should be looking at getting your evolved thing I'll talk about it in a
Bandito
second.
flew in onto Mass, but look at the positioning here by the Jin, who's able to hit that curtain call from behind the wall and still have as much impact as he needs. Hide on hooks, hits with the hook there, and is actually able to stop the curtain call. But in comes Fluttershy with the ultimate, and I think Fluttershy should die to Shen here, as she doesn't have the ability to really damage him with that W up. But she gets to walk away, and that's 3 kills here over to Mage haters. And a Drake for their troubles, as well as we see if these guys continue to play around the bot side with the advantages that Jin has right now, he is massive and it's so hard for them. So that's going to be first Drake for Mage haters. They're going to take that Chemtech. We're going to find out the soul here is Mountain. Guma does not get caught by that snare. I think that was a positioning issue by Mass there, as opposed to a good play by Guma, where he just maybe predicted him to sidestep and he just didn't sidestep. So unfortunate there for them. But now BMW is looking to fight Synthet again, and he's just gonna keep chomping away. And again, against these AD champions, we see that chomp is just so strong, and Flash is gonna come out there trading it for the ultimate from Zahen. He does have a level lead, but the HP is just not on his side right now, and I believe the Zahen's passive should be up again. Production can confirm, but yeah, I think right now BMW can't fight him unless it's unless there's some kind of thing on his side, you know. And he's got to go for it though again. Here we go, straight in with a chomp. He puts the pillar down. Subjugate comes as well, I think, but that's gonna be an ignite kill. Never mind, ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. His team ignited. Yeah, the passive was up, but he couldn't get it because he just.
There are 2 issues there. Issue number 1, you've used your ultimate as Synthet, and issue number 2 is BMW.
Hold up, I want to talk about
BMW had.
This is really close. Hold up, Biwahaya is gonna get himself a solo kill onto Cat Bandito there. He's got that Hextech Gunblade, and he is happy to take trades at that point. And this is a stark difference from what we saw in game 1, where it felt like Terra Panda was getting his kind of ass handed to him, to be honest. But you know, in this lane, on the Kali is his main. He's able to make something happen. He got a couple hundred gold off of a kill in the bot lane off of a roam. He gets his first item. He's on level 10, so he's got, you know, fully stacked Q in terms of it's fully leveled, I should say. And you know, he's happy to take that fight, and he gets it. Maybe a little bit of hubris from Cat Bandito there, very aggressively positioned, but still good sign here for Mage Hunters, who are 1.5k in the lead right now. They're going to be happy with this right now, and I think where are they going in the next minute or so? Do you think they move over to this Herald? You can see Fluttershy is pathing to it already.
They should, but the bigger part here is the trades that Terra Panda is able to throw out on the mid lane, and Cat Bandito now, despite having the counter pick, is in a bit of a rough spot. It's kind of funny because both counter picks in the second part of the draft currently aren't working out. One of them because he's been a tad over aggressive. The other, not because they've been over aggressive, but because they're playing really, really well. And
yeah, no, for sure.
Continue seeing this. Right now, look at the trade.
Holy, Synthet loses like 80% of his HP for being on the same screen as the Trundle. That's the Troll King and for you right there. And he's looking for the dive here. Subjugate's gonna come out. But no, look, Briar comes in here and it's actually a fucking bait. That is excuse my French, but honestly, that was a really clean bait there by Synthet. I don't know if that was communicated beforehand or what, but you know, really clean there to be like, ooh, look, I'm so free, you could kill me. And then immediately the Briar ult comes in, catches BMW, and gets themselves a free kill there. It's the 3rd death of the game here for the Trundle as well. And do you know what? As time goes on, it doesn't matter too much if Trundle is ahead. Although, ooh, crazy dive here by the Akali. Gonna try and dodge the fear, but doesn't dodge it. And then Stan United comes in, and that's gonna be the difference maker here as Akali, as much as we praised, unfortunately just not respecting that 3-minute ultimate cooldown there for the Shen. And now Fluttershy and Synthet might be in trouble here, as we're gonna see Fluttershy is stuck in this pit, and they're gonna jump the wall here to get out, and I think they'll be fine, but they're gonna have to give up that Herald there. And that is rough there for the side of Mage haters. They are throwing away what gold lead they built here with some suspect plays, or I would say more so just not quite respecting what cooldowns are up, you know? Like, the expert made that dive basically impossible. There's a 0% chance it works out if Stand United can be popped, and nice trade here for the
Now,
bot lane here. Mass is looking for
there
a
is
good chunk of damage.
something I'm gonna point out though, and this is really important. Normally, the good smallers, they get all their stacks by, I said, somewhere between 20 to 24 minutes. Right now, Gumasushi isn't even halfway there.
No, it's
right
rough
now, he's
for him.
barely clipped the 100. It becomes easier after getting 100, but it's still going to take some time. So I doubt that they are going to be impactful anytime soon. So you can see. So right now, if you are the Mage haters, dear Briar, Fluttershy, you should be bot lane at this point. Potentially mid.
Oh!
Wow.
Very clean 1v1 by Biwa Haya there. Gonna just put Cat Bandito on a t-shirt and gonna try his best to walk out here. He does have more mobility than Expert, but in comes BMW, and I think he should just die here. Very bad pillar, but it doesn't matter because they're able to walk Biwa Haya down. But I think, again, considering the contrast of how game 1 went, we should be very happy with Akali here, being able to mitigate Cat Bandito. And they get that second Drake for themselves here. First mountain of the game for them. And I want to talk a little bit before we talk about the game state here. Mountain Soul, in my opinion, is so much nicer for mage haters, because Synthet is going to be building like HP and AD items, right? He doesn't really build resistances. And so getting resistances from that Mountain Soul and getting the shielding from that Mountain Soul, it makes him so much more survivable. Fluttershy is in the exact same boat. They're building the Titanic Hydra. They're going to build Black Cleaver. They're getting AD and HP. Resistances and shielding from the Mountain Soul will make them infinitely more survivable. Alongside the healing from Jaden on this Nami, I think it's going to be so hard for Absolute Shurima if Soul does go over to Mage Hunters. And that is a clean pop with the curtain call for Mass, putting himself on a rampage right now on what I would like to call the speed maxing Jin build of the Swifty boots and the Storm Razor. But Biwa Haya here going to get caught out by Cat Bandito with the ultimate, and another Stand United sent straight into that mid lane on repeat, by the way. It looks like Expert is dedicating himself solely to the idea that Cat Bandito is the carry here in this game. And I really think he should be looking more topside, because right now they have a 2k gold lead on that Trundle. Trundle looks to be building what I imagine will be a Triforce as his second item, and that's going to be a fat power spike when he gets it. So they need to be looking at him. I want to see Stand United on him in these 1v1s. You know, they make him Thanos.
I don't agree.
Really.
I don't agree, because right now Trundle is basically already winning it, right? The 1v1s. He doesn't need the extra resource, because he can just pop down. Right now, the only issue is that he can say, "Oh, BYM,
yeah,
you need to."
Say, I think you may have cast the curse in there. I'm not gonna lie.
The issue, I'll put it this way: I might have cast the curse in there, but what happened there should not be happening in the first place. You've let Synthet charge up his passive. Once he gets to his passive,
Guma
that
might
is
be
when
caught
he
here. Hold up. Okay, flies away.
That is when he can absolutely do damage. That is when he can become a problem. You have done such an excellent job, basically, at just making sure that wasn't the case the entire time. So I kind of feel like, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, Cat Bandito did commit flash there for a play that didn't actually manifest into anything meaningful. So I'm a little bit dubious of that. We'll see. Biwa Haya really should have based here. I don't think there's anything for him to get on 30% HP. Cat Bandito with 2 items completed, an extra range off of the Hextech Rocket Belt, means he could be in danger at that health total. So he really needs to play far, far, far back here. Going to lose that tier 1 bot lane turret, and now the gold lead in mid lane is manifesting 1.4k despite being 1 and 3. Because look at the CS diff, you know, Vex has been able to farm for free in this lane, meanwhile she's punishing the Akali. And we see they do send the Herald here into the mid lane. They brought it over with the second charge. It won't charge into the turret though. It's going to get popped here before it gets a chance to do any meaningful damage. Although Hook is going to land onto Jaden. Reactionary Tidal Wave is going to stop Cat Bandito's base. And we're going to see the snare come here onto Hide on Hooks. And Mass is looking for something, but do they know that Expert is just over there stealing those chickens? Because this is a 4v2. And I fear if they get caught out, it might be curtains for them. But top lane has a 1v1 here. Jaden's getting jumped on by Expert, and Fluttershy is in being 1v3, creating amazing amounts of pressure here as we see Mum is going to be summoned. Does clip Mass a little bit. Sorry, no, it was Jaden, I believe. And now the top lane fight is just going completely like the other way, and we're going to see Fluttershy is going to get a kill here. Zahen does actually kill the Trundle here, and now Mass is going to get himself another kill. He is 5-0-3 right now, looking to kill Guma, but look how low Fluttershy was. That was a one touch away from death scenario, and they get that kill there. And look how big the kill lead has grown here for the side of Mage haters, as Absolute Shurima are really struggling in this game, and that's an explosion in gold there as they get, I believe, there may have been a shutdown in there too. They got up to 4.3k gold lead here. They're going to be able to take that top tier 1, I believe, and take the mid tier 1 as well here, feeding that gold onto Mass. Jaden should really let him get it on his own, but it looks like he's dedicated to stealing some of that coinage. And
a really big thing.
Wrong.
And a really big thing is, look at, if you look at, you had 2 team fights. We'll first talk about the top lane one. The top lane one, once again, Synthet was allowed to charge up his passive. Now, I'm not sure if it went down or not. I have the feeling that it did. But that in itself, if the passive is gone, that means that Trundle, once again, has access to that 1v1. Because if the passive is gone, he can just drop down his ultimate and really do damage. That was the first one. The second one was in the mid lane. One person was untouched the entire time. They were throwing everything onto Terra Panda and the other person, Terra Panda and Jaden, and weren't touching Mads at all, which then puts them in a really awkward position. Now, we see them looking up here, and I'm not sure you want to be there, Terra.
And that was a clean play. Oh, he pops the Trundle out of nowhere. And I think they're going to have to give up control of this Drake pit here. Is look, we can see with the gold lead they have and the power they have in their hands right now, Fluttershy is going to start this Drake. They don't even care the Expert's there. They're going to start pulling it out. We're going to look for a hook here from Hyde on hooks, but he's not going to land anything. And then now in comes the Jhin damage as he just dinks them. But look at the chunk from Vex there onto Jaden and Biwa. We see Synthet now is on the backline. He's going to get the ult off into 2 members. He's got the fully stacked passive. They're going to kill Smolder. Smolder's not done much in this game, and he is just going to see a gray screen once again, as this is going to be, what is that, an ace? Complete 5-0. No, sorry. No. The Shen is still alive and the Vex is still alive, but they are forced out of the Dragon Pit and out of this fight. And there's not much else they can really do here. They're going to have to give up Soul Point. We can see Expert is fishing. He really wants to try and steal this, but he will lose his life trying. Cat Bandito is there. Red team still get it, although it was a bad smite. And we're going to see the knock up there onto Expert. In comes BMW off at the TP, I believe. And he's trying his best here, but he's not really doing much. And in comes Fluttershy with the the stun. Gonna lock him down. Fear's gonna land onto the Briar, and insert, I think Expert's gonna go down here. TP's coming on blue side again, but this is already a losing endeavor. Guma is here, but Guma can't make a difference. He gets the Q off onto Fluttershy, but Cat Bandito is running with no mana to their name. There's nothing they can do but emote, as they're gonna watch Fluttershy here just happily take away their jungler's camps, and that is 7.8k gold lead here, resounding lead for the side of Mage haters. And you gotta feel like we're going to a game 3 after this, right?
Well, the only thing that could potentially keep this into game 2 is if Gumasushi can get access to his stacks and actually get them. Because right now, he's still 50 off. He's still 50 off right now. So right now, there's...
This should be a kill. I think Ignite will take. He's gonna get it. But they're gonna trade here. That's gonna be 1 death on the bot side here for 4 members on the top side being able to secure this Baron. And it doesn't actually look like the side of Absolute Shurima know that this is happening. So we're going to see that go over. No contest. We'll see Jhin quickly wrap around to mid lane to catch that wave that's crashing into his turret. We've got 181 on the stacks here for Guma, but again, I'm not going to lie. I still worry a little bit that I don't think he's going to have much impact when he gets it. I'm really looking in the mid lane to see whether or not like the Vex is the primary person here to carry this game.
It's not that I don't agree with the Vex being the primary person to carry the game, but the difference is once he gets that amount, he can start executing people, and that's going to be the.
Speaking of executing, he is about to get executed himself. Legendary is the AD carry here for Mage Haters. Mass 8-0 and 7 right now on his third item here as well. We look at his build real quick. He's got, what, 75% crit at the moment, I believe? Yeah,
it's
so
75% crit.
Really...
And the thing here, and this is where... This is where I'm going to bring it back for or I should say, the role as Guma Sushi. Guma Sushi here in this game, he technically should kind of be like a janitor, a guy who cleans everything up. Because if you can get him to get the kills and not Cat Bandito, which is absolutely going to sound strange right now, but you'll understand in a minute. If he can get those kills, first off, you're going to get him back into the game. Not that important in all fairness, but way more important. If they get the kill onto the person where Cat Bandito ulted, that means that he gets to reset with that ultimate and absolutely gets to shred through the entire team. So I do feel that getting those stacks onto Guma Sushi is going to be one of the key parts for this game. He needs to get access to them, and right now it's still going really slow. You're at 28 minutes, which is well past the time where you should have it, and you're still 40 stacks away. And that, to me, is the real concern here. Man's deciding to open up.
Curtain Call's gonna land on 3 people there, and Guma is now forced out. Hide on hooks is gonna eat the root as well. Does land the hook onto Jaden here, and it looks like they're gonna commit onto the fish, but I don't think they're gonna be able to kill her because all of their health totals are just a little too low. They're eating too much damage from this side of Mage Haters here. Mass is sitting on the exhaust and flash as well, so he can really push his lead here. I mentioned it a little bit, but like when I was talking about the Jin's build, because he first bought Stormrazor, the amount of movement speed he has with Swifties, with Stormrazor, with I believe his passive as well, I think gives him some movement speed as well. Like he's very mobile for someone who doesn't have a dash. He gets to just kind of waddle up to people at Mach 10 and then just pop them if he has 4th shot. It's genuinely kind of scary. And so I fear a little bit for the side of Absolute Shurima. This is very much Mage Haters' game to lose. They have complete control of the map. The dragon is coming up fairly soon. Mountain Soul, like I said, I think really benefits them because they're 2 Fed members here, and the Zion and the Briar are not going to be building too much in the way of resistances. So getting the extra resistances is super useful for them, and the shielding as well. Considering how much built-in healing they have, that shielding can just make that little bit of difference here. But Synthet might be getting caught here, as we're going to see BMW commits. Ultimate's going to come out. Guma's here as a cavalry, but I don't know if they can make too much of a difference. He's going to go straight onto Guma, and he does stack the the passive, so he's going to go back up to nearly full health here. Going to try and dash over the wall, but he fails because of the pillar. But look, there's not enough commitment here from the side of Absolute Shurima. They stopped him from getting away, but now he just says, I'm not stuck here with you guys. You guys might be stuck here with me. And he's going to get the kill. It's going to be a 1-for-1 and a 1v2. And you mentioned that in game 1. And Synthet's job in this team, his job in this roster is to create pressure and make it so that it's so much harder. But Red Team are going to get sold there as Expert went in for the Smite Steal. 50-50s don't always work out, and dreams don't come true for some people. And on this occasion, with a 9.7k gold lead, Mage Haters are more than happy to push towards this, towards their nexus here, I imagine. They've got the Soul in tow, they've got Control, Curtain Call's gonna come out, Cat Bandito's gonna eat 1-2 shots. Looks like the 3rd and 4th will miss, but maybe the game isn't quite over. Okay, hold up, I'll hold my horses. I thought they were gonna go push in there, but they decided not to. That's just going to be a kill, though. Never mind. I look away for a millisecond and Cat Bandito gets popped. Like a zip. Unlucky.
Yeah, he decided to overstay just a tad, and this is the thing where, I mean, you're still on a timer right now, but the difference is the timer has become a bit more shorter because Guma Sushi is starting to get near those stacks. Last I saw, it's over 200 if I'm not mistaken, so that should soon translate in, yep, at 210, so it's 15 more. That means by the next team fight, technically, he should have access to that execute. And that's going to turn things ever so slightly.
I get where you're coming from, but it's like it's the lowest percentage of the execute. How many of the team fights have we seen where mage haters, have been low enough to get executed? It hasn't even really happened in the last 2 to 3 fights. The last 2 to 3 fights have been categoric wins for mage haters.
Yeah, but on the third dragon there, Fluttershy revived from, I'd say it was triple digit.
That fight like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, you're right.
And right there, if
Fluttershy
goes down, but if Fluttershy goes down, there is no tank for the rest of those people that are fighting, and I feel that could very well still swing it in their favor. It's a small one, granted, but I'm not ready to call it out just
agree.
yet.
It is a small one. I think we're going to a game 3 almost certainly. Since that, like I said, with this Mountain Soul, you're right, he's not a full tank, but I think he's tanky enough. He can frontline, and we're going to see here with Subjugate going onto him. He is at half HP, but I think he should still be fine. He's still looking to fight. He's got that fully stacked passive, and when it's the bubble here, land not to hide on hooks. Root's going to come in. Jaden's going to get obliterated, and that is the first execute of the game. We spoke tons about the execute coming in, but here comes Biwahaya. Going to get 3 easy kills there with a clean execute on their side. And now BMW is here in a 1v1. I don't think he wins because the passive is going to trigger, and he doesn't even get the passive. That is just a complete win for the side of Mage haters, and they lose across the map. And I don't like this Baron call. Just push for the game, guys. I think you had a pushing lane in mid. You could go for the game there, but they decide, do you know what? Maybe someone out there is currently playing Runeterra Rising fantasy football, and we need to give him more stats. We need to give that guy who's playing Runeterra Rising fantasy football more points. So we're going to take this Baron and then end, instead of just ending. And we're going to see Master's going to pick that one up. Biwahaya, like was said by production, Biwahaya did go for the push, but I don't think he's got the facilities for it. And as hide on hooks is.
Meanwhile, I love Toki's comment. 220 and 31. We might need a 60-minute game to see this smaller scale, which isn't wrong. And for a person who knows how to play AD carry to a T, this is a very correct comment. Now they've reached that mark. However, I feel that this Nash, if you play it correctly, you put your 2 solo lanes on the side lanes, make sure that they pressure, you put the 3 other guys in the mid lane, or 2 other guys in the mid lane with Briar roaming in between somewhere, and you just push in all 3 lanes. Make sure that you push in all 3 lanes now, prior to the next Dragon spawning, the Elder being occurring in 1 minute. Because remember, you pointed this out earlier, the fights have been going in their favor, yes. But if you can somehow keep that Jhin busy with the Shen, Jhin is not shredding through those tanks at all. He's having a really rough time with the Shen, so there is still some options left for them. But by the looks of it, all 3 lanes are being used. Oh no. Only 2 lanes are being used. Why are you not sieging the 3rd one? Because that means that you just got to abandon the pressure everywhere. And this is the one thing that I am happy about, because one of the things that Sinted often does is when he has Nash, he has a tendency to over-push and not respect the pressure points across the map. So him backing off here, we can see very good stuff.
He's hard pushing on that top side right now. We can see that with the Elder coming up. This is going to be a 4v4. There is TP from both top laners, but both of them have the ability to stop the other from TPing, right? Yeah. Like if they TP in plain sight, then the pillar can stop the Zahen, and the pull can stop the Trundle.
That's one thing I really like
look at the cheese! Look at the cheese!
Look at the massive wave though in the bot lane as well. If one fight goes wrong here, this is going to be a problem.
Wait, hold up though. Look at the commit. Look at the commit here. We see 3 members here of Absolute Shurima. Look at the fight on Synthet. We need to see commitment on the Elder Drake immediately here from the red side. We see Guma's going to jump over the wall, and I think he's going to get himself to safety, but Synthet's going to try his hardest to kill Cat Bandito. He does actually get the kill onto the Smolder, actually. Cat Bandito gets to walk away, but the Elder hasn't been started. All of this pressure created by Synthet is going to complete waste, as now they're going to make the start here, but this is going to be a 4v4, I believe, because BMW is here. He TP's straight in. They're missing their frontliner here in the Zahen, and We're gonna see
Yeah, but they gotta
come out. It does a decent chunk of damage,
commit.
but
They gotta commit
yeah,
here
we're wasting
because
time
they.
here. It's on 4K, it's on 3K. They're gonna look for a hit. They're gonna try. Oh, it got stolen! Ain't no way Expert took that. He's gonna get killed for his troubles, but that is massive for his team. Cat Bandito and BMW right now both have this Elder Drake, which is gonna be a big execute for them. And that is catastrophe for the Mage haters. Even with a 13k gold lead, they may somehow lose this game. As we go, we are hurtling towards 40 minutes, and Guma's at 272 now. The execute is growing.
And the longer this game goes, the bigger the problem is going to be for the team. So I feel that this is where they dropped the ball. If you go back and wind before anything was happening in top lane, Synthes was creating that pressure. Really good stuff. However,
big two-man pillar. Big two-man pillar. Flash hook is going to go wide, but then in comes Cat Bandito with the multi-man stun off of the ultimate. Mass is going to get caught. He's going to go down. Surely he goes down here. The execute is going to come out. GA is going to get popped. He is still alive just about, but in comes the cavalry here as Akali's going to kill Smolder. Thresh is going to get Akali, and now in comes Expert. Whiffs it with the E, and the root's going to come out here onto BMW, and this is a very weirdly back and forth fight. Kited again is the Trundle. Trundle can do nothing there. He is living the perpetual melee character curse there of I tried to ooga booga punch them and I can't catch them because he's too fast and he's rained. Unlucky we go to a game 3. I don't even know how to feel about that one there. That was so messy. And
I am disappointed for both teams because earlier the point I wanted to make is when you had the Nash, you need to pressure 3 lanes. You didn't do that. You didn't set up properly for the Elder. It becomes a flip. They didn't get it. And then after they flip it, great, they get the Jhin, but they don't stack onto the Jhin. Make sure that you kill him earlier. And that just means that these guys, being the Mage haters, they end up being able to kill everybody through an Elder Baron team and push this game on to game 3.
Genuinely insane steal, by the way, from the Shen. To be able to sneak in there, because if they got Elder, the game was cut and dry. But getting the Elder away from the Mage haters gave them some hope. It gave, because now I'm like, okay, it's not just the Smolder that has execute. We have 3 executes, right? They take that fight that looked really potentially clean, but it just got a little bit too murky. And then in the extended fight, you've got the Zarhen with tons of healing. You've got the Briar with tons of healing. You had the GA on a full build Jhin, who, by the way, didn't die that game. Mass had a star performance in that game. And I also, again, need to say that Jaden did really well on the Nami, to be honest. Some of his bubbles were pristine. Some of his tidal waves were really clean. So he needs to be said that he played out of his mind in that game, I think. Especially in my experience, engage into enchanters, unless you get a lot of control early, you can get hooked, you can get caught, and it makes it really hard to play the game, right? So I think he did really well, but without further ado, I think we're ready to cut to a break, unless you got something else you want to add, Matt.
Well, there are a couple of things, and I'm really curious because I'm going to be watching the next draft. There are a couple of things that could happen, that can really change the outcome of the next game. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen, but I will share them during the picks and bans on the next game to make sure that it can impact the game, that it doesn't flip them in the advantage of one of both teams. So there are a couple of things that I will be looking forward to and will be commenting during picks and bats. With that, it is time to throw it over to the break.
Hell yeah. We'll see all of you in a Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at game 3. It is match point, 1 win apiece for the 3rd place in playoffs here. So before we move on to the draft of this game, I want to just set the kind of stage a little bit for you. So whoever loses this series has to go up against the undefeated Piltover team. So it's going to be a very hard game for them if they do that. Meanwhile, whoever wins gets to go up against Freljord. Not a joke by any stretch of the imagination. The Freljord lower bracket team, they made second on their own merit. They have only lost, I believe, to Piltover, who came first. But they have not looked as dominant in that fashion. And I think that, whoever wins this, both teams want to win. They're going to be looking to face that Freljord team and not the Piltover side, because the Piltover side have looked very strong so far. But speak to me, Mahasvara. Tell me how you're feeling about this game 3. What are we looking for?
I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with the picks and bans, because there are a couple of ways which both teams can guarantee themselves a win or not. So right now we see Aatrox and Varus. Nothing has changed there. It's the 3rd ban. I'm looking for Ultimate Shurima. And for the Mage haters, I'm kind of curious to see what the 3rd ban will be, because we will be seeing no ban.
Probably the Sivir again, no? Oh, no ban.
It's a mist ban. So Mage haters clearly already dealing with a bit of stress and dropping the ball there, because I feel that you should have looked at the options for thing, and this should have been a Kate getting removed. Now the question is, well, never mind. For Absolute Shurima does them a favor and actually bans the Caitlyn, which they should have banned in the first place. So in the end, all is even Stevens, and we will see what the picks will be. But Demacia having the first pick, meaning that they're probably keeping that counter pick for mid. There are 2 picks you got to get rid of. I will talk to them afterwards, but this is the one that I was expecting.
Swain.
It's B1 Swain, because this Swain can go into this Swain can go into 2 roles. It can go both in top lane for Synthet, or it could go in match. So this is a flex, and I like this. This is smart from them, because they can move that around depending on what will happen. It makes banning out the final part a bit harder. Meanwhile, we have been informed that the Gamba has already been put up, although it's going to be really early.
No, I didn't even win nothing, bro. Oh, I'm on 150 points. I'm cooked.
Meanwhile, as a counter option, we do see the Ziggs getting picked up. And Ziggs, to my understanding, is most likely going to go bot lane, although it is a flex also. So both teams bringing out flex picks in game 3. I like that very much. That shows a very strong idea of what they can want to be drafting. This Maokai, however, very clearly going to Expert Baga. He has been the one who has been piloting in the previous series, generally to great success. So good for him to getting back onto a comfort champion. And now the question is, what will they pair it with afterwards? Meanwhile, we do see Fluttershy going on to a champion, and I am happy that they are not picking their usual here, because normally they would have been looking at Iramis, and they pivot that away and go for the Skarner instead, considering that there's already a very clearly heavy AP source on the other team. Now the question is, what will they pair it with? Because the one downside of... Wow. Okay, I did not see this one coming. That is a Sylas. And I'm not sure where that Sylas is going, because again, this technically is a flex pick, so you're providing a boatload of options either way. And as a answer, we do see the Gwen, and the Gwen is going to be coming out for the top lane. So right now, you have, you know what the top lane is. Now, you can decide here as Mage haters. You can send the Swain bot with the Sylas in mid and get a counter pick top. Or you can pull the Silas into top, play with Swain, and have a counter pick potentially. A still blind pick for the mid lane. Sorry. The only issue with that is if you use this Swain in the top lane, you're gonna have to come out with something 80 in the mid lane. And to my knowledge, and from the scouting that I've done, the only 80 mid laner that Terra Panda plays is Irelia. So, not being identified by Absolute Shurima, so there is still a chance here. However, they're getting rid of the Darius, which they didn't get rid of him for round 1, and somewhat surprised that they didn't end up picking that up. Meanwhile,
maybe that would have been the stage 1 ban they missed. Who knows?
Yeah, but and this is the one thing that I'll get back to this after the draft phase, because I've got something to say about the Gwen pick and the Darius, but I will get back to that afterwards. We do see the Rel getting picked up, and here we see the Alistar, which now means you need AD in this comp. You need AD, and I know for a fact that there is a issue. Well, you don't like to blind something in the top lane. Now, normally, that if you have done your scouting properly, you know that Gwen is in the top lane, and you should be coming out with an option here. I can see two. I see Yone and I see Yasuo, both of them providing a lot of AD with knockups, and it is going to be the Yone where Synthet is going to bring back the champion where he ended up clinching the mini LCS finals, taking it away from Ivan back at the time, and absolutely had a stellar performance in the top lane. So that now means, and the question is, what does the counter option go for Cat Bandito? Because you still have no AD on your team.
It could. Oh my god. God.
I can tell you right now, that is a Vayne mid lane. I'm surprised it's Vayne mid and not Tristana mid, but that is a Vayne mid lane. I would have been expecting the Tristana mid lane here, but it's a Vayne mid lane. So, regarding both comps, and I'm gonna piggyback onto this. First off, first round, when you get the Gwen, right? I'm not sure why you didn't go for Darius there, because when you're on red side, when you have the counter pick. That R3 pick is can technically be a really strong pick because you can pick something and then ban it in the second stage. So this would have been the ideal game to take Darius on that R3 pick and then ban out two of the counter picks, meaning that you can kind of set and choose the matchup that you wanted to have in the top lane while putting the MW on his most preferred champion. So missed opportunity for Absolute Shurima in my opinion there. Then on the flip side, and this is where I gotta say really smart of keeping that mid lane pick hidden so far. With the Ziggs, technically this could have gone to Cat Bandito as well, meaning that there was still an option for the AD carry and making the bans a lot harder for the Mage haters. So they missed an opportunity, but also capitalized incredibly, showing off anything else later on. I am slightly worried about the damage profile because Vayne does really well into tanks, but other than that, this is going to be a very interesting game. What do you think of this draft, Jack?
I think the Absolute Shurima, I'm not even gonna lie, I think both teams maybe burnt the kitchen a little bit, you know? I think that the Shurima draft here, for one, blinding Gwen when you weren't sure if you're going to face a tank in the top side is rough. She's not the kind of safe blind pick. She's never been a particularly safe blind pick in my opinion, but there was a period at the beginning of this season where she was particularly strong, and you could, if you were strong on her, blind pick her, and it wouldn't matter too much if you weren't against the tank. Up against the Yone has enough mobility that he can dodge her Q fairly easily if Synthet plays it well. So it's going to be a matchup, and we've seen this entire series so far, it has been a bloodbath in the top lane. Both players have been playing very aggressively. Both players have been making mistakes, and it's kind of, the longer the games go, they tend to go in the favor of Synthet, and I think this matchup probably matches that again. I think that the Yone, as the game progresses, will probably be able to destroy the Gwen before she gets to kind of get out most of her burst on him. And I look to the side of Mage haters, and I'm like, well, Gwen is gonna have a good time up against this, up against the Skarner. He's gonna have a good time up against the Alistar and against the. They're all guys that are gonna stack HP items and be able to get just shredded, and I think also the Vayne fits into that profile as well, right? Like they have a lot of good ways to shred these guys who want to take those lengthy team fights. But I don't know. I'm really looking at Synthet on this Yone. I think if he underperforms here, their team's going fourth. And if he, if he's up to task, then I think he can probably carry the game. He can drag the team over the line. I think that Swain in this game, if they get ahead early, then maybe Mass can take over the game. But if it's equal, Vayne and Gwen are so good at shredding him. It's going to be so hard for them to go through this. So, and in terms of the mid lane here, Sylas into Vayne is a free lane. I think that Cat Bandito gets to scale this game in the same way that he did in game 1. I think he's just gonna have a free lane. I think it's gonna be really hard for Terra to get anything of note done, especially if Expert lives in the mid lane again. If he does the same thing he did last game on the Shen, where he was using all of his util in mid lane whenever it was up. I find it hard to see where this Sylas comes in. I will say that the Sylas ultimate is going to be really good to create zones of control by stealing away the Maokai ult. I think the Maokai ult does wonders on Mage haters' side, right? Being able to root people down for about a second and a half when you have someone like a Swain who has very kind of awkward to land CC abilities. You have champions like Skarner, who needs that little channel time to land the what is his ultimate called again? Oh my god, I've forgotten. Is it called a Rupture or something? I can't remember what it's called.
I know
off
what
the top of my head, but his ultimate.
Isn't it the Impale?
You have a Impale. Yes, Impale. That is it. Yeah. But there's a bunch of those kind of abilities that I think stealing away the Maokai ultimate around a dragon fight will make the world of difference, right? At least I can say that the Mage Haters draft here, they can play like how they played team fights in game 1 with this draft, and it will be less bad. The enemy team have less control over choke points with this draft without adequate setup, right? Like they need to have all of their lanes pushed before they can start being like, oh, we could control a choke. Ziggs really needs setup, and Guma has been getting punished in this game. So I think that he might not be able to have the impact in this game that he has had. Well, I mean, he hasn't had much impact in both Game 1 or Game 2 here. I think his Yunara was decent, and the Smolder just, again, I think they took it just to deny it. They didn't take it because he was proficient on it, and we saw it took 30 minutes to get the execute. It was really hard going for him. So it's also going to be the first game we're going to see Hyde on hooks, not on a hook champion as well. So he's going to be on the Rel. We do have another engager. I really like the Rel in this lineup because it's going to make it so if he can land the Magnet Storm, he can make it so easy for Guma to just land every single ability he needs to, right? Like you get multi-man Magnet Storm into a multi-man Ziggs ult on the pressure point in the middle. Tons of damage out of that, multi people getting hit by the fully stacked Gwen Q as well can be devastating. It's not just a tank shredding move. It can, burst these squishies in the Yone, and to a lesser extent the Sylas, it'll depend on what Terra builds here. I imagine there's got to be some kind of deviation in his build to make this lane a little bit more survivable. Probably got to go a little bit beefier, right? Unless he gets ahead early, I think going damage is just a death sentence for him.
I'm going to piggyback on that idea for a second, because I think that there's one thing that you are slightly overlooking, is that Sylas, as good as that Rel ultimate can be, right? Sylas can steal that Rel ultimate and really do a lot of damage, because if you can group people up and then have the Yone come through with his ult afterwards, I'm sorry to say, but bye-bye Vayne, bye-bye Ziggs, and I think that at that point it's bye-bye team fight for absolute Shurima. So I like both drafts. The thing that's going to be interesting to me is what is the build that Mads is going to go on his Swain, because that is probably going to dictate a whole lot of things. If he gets an early Rylai's and can keep people close to him in team fights, make sure that they're slowed around him. That is going to be a really, really big thing to consider. Meanwhile, it looks like we're getting into game, but it's somewhat frozen.
We are
There we
in
go.
game,
Production has
90
been able
minutes
to
so
sort
fact,
it out a tad here.
Oh, I know what that means. That delay is caused because there was probably a pause in the game or something as they got into the game. Production can confirm or deny it, but I'm fairly certain when the spectator client bugs out like that. Oh, really? It wasn't. So the lag was not to do with the pause, because usually it is. Although, damn, the lag here is big. Is there lag on in the stream? Can people in the Twitch chat say if we are lagging like the voices?
Yeah, I'm looking on the stream and it's lagging there too. So it looks like we're lagging all across the board. Now, if we look at the runes, the only one which
very close to first blood.
The one that I was going to point out, the interesting one was Cat Bandito with the press the attack. I think you've got two options to go there, but well, my lord.
Yeah, this lag
I'm not sure if you can see anything else, but meanwhile...
hold up. Kuma not gonna go down? Hold up. Oh, Mass is gonna go down. He goes for the flash. It's gonna be first blood for first blood. But the first blood there is actually going to go on to hide on hook, so that's kind of rough for him. And again, we get this intense lag here. And no worries. All right, so we're gonna have we got a little bit technical difficulties up in the place. So give our Lord and Savior and Imperious leader Tuba 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes for that little reset there. We'll hopefully be back with you guys as soon as we can, as we see that first blood come out for the Swain, which was nice. But yeah, unfortunately, gonna see if we can get the lag spikes to end here real quick, as yeah, that mid lane matchup I think is going to be so brutal for Terra. No, I think they have done him no favors. Okay, we've been told the stream is actually going to close for 2 minutes. It's not. It's a whole stream reset, not a game reset. So we'll be back in 2. Hold tight, people.